Well, hello, everybody. This is Eric Straetmans, and I'd like to thank you for listening to the Beyond the Leash podcast. This, before the podcast starts, is just a little announcement. Our sponsorship is in full motion now. This podcast is brought to you by the good people at Big Country Raw. This is really what I feed Nico. Feed your dog what Eric feed Nico, Big Country Raw. And we have a special announcement that we're going to link this to, I hope, bigcountryraw.ca/BTL for Beyond the Leash. So /BTL, bigcountryraw.ca/BTL. If you go to that page, you will get 15% off if you want to try Big Country Raw for the first time. If you've used other brands, if you're on Kibble, use this. You're going to get 15% off all your BTL products on your order. So thanks for listening. Here's another podcast. This one is about very sensitive subject, something I've dealt with my whole career, training dogs with disabilities. Hope you enjoyed this one, guys. Thank you.
Welcome to the Beyond the Leash podcast, your number one source for everything canine. Eric Straetmans has you covered on the latest training tips, techniques, and more. No more clicker training bullshit, constantly bribing with treats. Just balanced dog training that works. Now, here's your host, Eric Straetmans.
Well, hello. Here on the Beyond the Leash podcast on another Tuesday. This room is fucking full today.
Yeah,
it's so full, we have to have somebody sharing a mic. They don't have headphones. We're out of equipment. I need a bigger studio here. Feels really weird. I haven't done a podcast in a while because we had a little break. We were doing a little best of show, but we're back. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
So I got a large room of people. Let's start with my trainers. Everybody knows me. I'm Eric. Let's go over here.
Hey, it's Lee here.
Lee, say the last name. Kobieski?
Oh, my God. Am I a sausage? Kasabuski.
I fucking don't know. I thought you were a bottle of vodka. I don't know.
You were so
No, I'm a bottle of gin.
I was close. I'm getting better. It's hard. Then over here.
I'm Kat McKenzie.
And over here.
I'm Nerys Hall.
And our guest client today is over here.
Ranata Major.
This is Ranata Major, and the podcast is all going to be about her dog. She has, and we got a couple of them in the room right now. I don't even know the right, Dachshund.
It's Dachshund.
Dachshund is the right way. I think American, it's Dachshund. Wiener dog, I don't give a fuck what you call it. They're awesome. They're fucking awesome dogs, these little guys. Little stubby little legs. And I like to wing things on here. Ranata has been a client of mine for how long? Closer.
About 8-9 months.
Again, you don't have to go to it. It can come to you. We're having mic things here. And she has her dog on her lap, which can be a little bit of a pain in the ass for anybody. How long have you been a client? We're going back to the other one, Bella?
Yeah, we're going back about 8-9 months.
8-9 months.
Yeah.
So she has one dog that's already been through my novice. What did Bella get in the novice course?
196.
196, so pretty damn good score. Nice. And then that was also a Dachshund. And then we got another one.
Yes.
When did you get Loki? How old is Loki right now?
He's just over a year old.
Just over a year. So how much older is Bella?
A year older.
A year older. So we got a 2-year-old one and a 1-year-old one. Now, the whole show here is going to be, and everybody's got their hand on this guy. Everybody gave a little bit of effort training this guy, right from the novice class. Lee has experience with these dogs, so we did a lot of private lessons. But Loki is 100% deaf. He's the cutest guy in the world, and he's only about 6 inches tall, but he has 0 hearing. So this whole podcast, and I've had many deaf dogs before. We had one recently. We couldn't for the fucking life of us think of the name of it.
That's just this white dog.
White
American
Bulldog, I
think.
think
it was an American Bulldog.
I was trying to think of the name so I could punch it in and maybe I could have got her on here too, whatever. But it's challenging, yes. It's a lot different than training a dog. Renata, you've done both.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, I don't even know this. How did Loki come to you? Is it like, I know this dog is deaf, let's get him, or we got him and, oh no, he's deaf?
Kijiji special. We found out after he was deaf.
So you got him first,
Yes.
found out later on he was deaf.
Yes.
And how old did you get him at?
He was 8.5 weeks.
8.5 weeks. Did you know right away he was deaf, or was it like, hey, he's not turning his head when I make funny noises?
I had a suspicion 2 weeks into getting him that he wasn't responding. Like, for example, he'd fall asleep by the door, and I could literally open the door, walk past it. He wouldn't even budge. The complete opposite of Bella.
Yeah.
And I would sneak up behind him, or if I touched him right away, he'd get startled. He would jump. So I did take him to the vet when he was
so you had him at 8 weeks. You're starting to realize maybe there's something wrong with his hearing at around when?
I'd say about 2 weeks after, so about 10 weeks.
So 10 weeks.
Yeah.
And you directly brought him to the vet.
I waited till he was due for his shot, so at about 12 weeks, I brought him in, and the vet, she's like, I can't really do any concrete testing.
I was going to say, did they have to go to a special vet?
There's a specialist, but it's thousands of dollars. So I'm like, it doesn't matter if he's deaf or not. I just kind of wanted a confirmation. So she did take him to the back, and she just did basic, like distractions, a lot of clapping and whatnot. And she came back, he's absolutely not reacting to anything.
Okay, so it was pretty much confirmed by simple science. You got to get closer.
Simple science.
So now in your head, I just got a deaf dog. What goes on in your head? Are you like, fuck, did I make a mistake? Or are you like, I love this fucking guy no matter what?
I love him no matter what.
Of course.
He's just such a sweetheart.
Yeah, he is. He's got the most gentle personality. And I love Bella, but you say Bella's like you should have called her Loki. Loki's the god of mischief.
Yeah, in hindsight, I should have.
But Bella's fantastic, but she's more the, what do we say, attitude?
Big time.
She's got more attitude. She's very, very gentle. So in your head, are you like, I've already trained Bella, and that was, I don't want to say simple, but she did pretty well in her novice class. She came through it fast. She's one of our advanced dogs now. Are you like, now I can't train this dog? Was that your first thought, or?
I didn't think I could. Honestly, I didn't think I could.
I remember when I think you first asked me in here. Mm-hmm. You said, "Hey, I just found out my dog's deaf. Am I going to train?" I said, "I've done it. It's not like thousands of are coming in, but it's been probably about 50 in my career at least. At least a lot of white dogs become deaf." I don't know the science behind that.
White is
here we go.
Sorry.
We got a person that works for Pet Value that knows.
It's actually outside of that I know, but white, especially in your bully breeds, like your boxers and your bulldogs and
Argentinian dogos, like we were talking.
Dogos and stuff like that. It's actually like a mutation, and it tends to be kind of like the merle in the dachshunds and the basset hounds and the merle and the hounds. It's a mutation, and often what happens in those dogs is that there's some sort of either vision or hearing impairment, and especially if because
we're talking DNA stuff.
We're talking DNA stuff.
You get the white dog, you're going to get more
higher chance, and it's even more prevalent if people decide, the backyard breeders, they're like, oh, I like this coloring of this dog, and then they breed two of them together to kind of get that coloring to continue.
You got a more chance,
even a higher chance of the deaf or the blindness or whatever the issue is with them, and some of them can be actually very serious health issues, like the deafness or the blindness is the least of the worries.
Nice. I'm glad we had somebody in here that knew that, because I didn't fucking. I knew there was white dogs have a higher chance for some reason, but I didn't know.
Yeah,
I didn't know
the only one I
knew
was the breeding of a dapple dog and a solid dog. You have to breed a dapple and a solid, otherwise you'll get massive genetic problems with the dog. You can't do two dapples.
And it's actually why a lot of in the bully breeds, like the boxers, and I'm sure in the dapple color and like the hounds, why a lot of them up until fairly recently, I want to say in the past like 50 to 100 years, used to be culled right away. Mm-hmm. So because of the risk of the health issues.
So I've trained quite, and let's say this first, because we planned this after Loki's novice test. What did Loki just get on his test?
Perfect score.
2, and it was fucking, when I tell you, like, some people have given him a perfect just because they're good and they kind of deserve perfect and they just made a little screw up. It was competition perfect, this guy. competition perfect. And this is a deaf dog we're talking about. We're using all hand signals. I even shot a little video after just to, and I'm going to include a little video so you can see this little guy that has no hearing do better training than most dogs that do have hearing. So it's pretty awesome. So what was I don't remember exactly because I get a lot of phone calls, a lot of questions, a lot of this, a lot of that. What did I say when you said, hey, I got a deaf dog, can I train him? I don't even remember what I said.
You said, not a problem. Bring him in.
I imagine I would have said, yeah, I've had quite a few of them in the past.
You did said that. You trained other dogs.
It's not, like I said, I get like 2-3 a year. And just a little side note, which I completely forgot because we're doing on disabilities. When you train dogs, you're going to find blind dogs. I've even trained a blind dog. I've even trained hearing impaired people. 2 people came to me, and it was funny because they were texting me, and I said, just call me. And they go, we can't, we're deaf. Like husband and wife, I guess they met in a whatever, and they brought me the dog. The dog could hear, but here's the problem. How? And they go, oh, we can read lips really well. I go, well, I got a room full of people. I'm spinning around. I'd have to stare at them and just read my lips staring at you. That's no good. So it was back. I just pulled it up on Facebook, August 2016. So quite a while ago. Then the girl's name was Alana Klunder, and I talked to her because she's a certified American Sign Language English interpreter. And she had a dog, so I said, if you come in and help these people, I'll give you free training for your dog. So that worked out really well. So, you know, when you're going to get disabilities with humans, disability with dogs, I've trained 3-legged dogs, all kinds of things. We've even had some dogs we thought were a little bit like slow. And when I say slow, I don't mean slow. I mean mentally. They can, you got to get way closer.
Sorry, yes, mentally.
When you're sharing a mic, push the other one out of the way and get on there. So how long ago did you sign up for the class with Loki? It's been a while because we just went over the holidays.
I think Loki we started in October.
Yeah, October 2022.
Yeah.
First day, was it different than Bella?
Yes. I had to remember you called him a mop because I had to pull him into class.
Oh, yeah. He was so scared. I'm like, I don't have to mop my floor because we're dragging the poor guy along the ground. The good thing about your class, who else was in your class? I think your class was an absolute shit show on weeks 1 and 2.
Yes.
And then they became awesome. Yes. Like you had some Harley that's in our advanced class now was part of that class. Were you ever there for her class?
I was, yeah. There was
It was a really good class by the end of it.
Were the two sister King Corsos?
Yeah, they were there. They just tested too.
Yeah.
Or one of them tested.
Yeah.
I think
Enyo
and Enzo or NZ or Enzo. I always got them mixed up. That was a pretty good class though, all in all. There was the woman always puts the videos. Always put your dog up. Look at this dog. He's deaf. He's awesome. I can't remember her name, but she just came. I think they came for the Santa Claus pictures. So we have to use hand signal only. We have to. And for those of you listening, if you've listened to in the past, I'm not a hand signal. I don't want to say I don't like hand signals. What am I trying to say?
You don't rely on them?
Yeah.
It's not
your
that
favorite.
They should be secondary to the verbal command. And why is that?
Because your dog is not looking at you. They cannot do the command.
Screwed, which is 90% of the time your dog's not looking at you. And I don't mean on a training session. Nico was looking at me in training session. But at home, he's looking at the cat. As you've seen the videos.
He loves
the cat. He chases her around. He lies with her. He's looking at the cat. Now, that's limiting you big time, which we're going to talk about some things we're going to do in advanced, hopefully. And again, I don't remember a lot of this. How was his progression compared to the rest of the class?
Pretty good. The only issue with him was I couldn't do what I did with Bella's more, do the outside of the house training and everywhere else. He was just too much distraction for him.
Yep.
He did really well at the training at home and in class.
That's not just a deaf dog. That's a lot of dogs.
No,
at least
Bella,
at first.
believe it or not, refuses to train at home. She refuses. I can't. No, she knows.
She's the bitch with the
right
attitude,
away,
remember?
If I bring the call, anything, she runs away. She knows. She's like, forget it. I'm not training at home. Yeah. But because I did most of the training outdoors with her.
So we have a hand signal for sit. The heel, just to let everybody know, I know you don't understand. How would you give a hand signal for heel? We just use the foot, yes? Mm-hmm. Because in Mars school, anybody that's not listening, the dogs do learn from the foot command. Meaning we just step with the left foot, that means come with me. We step with the right foot, that means stay. So eventually we even dropped the hand signal for stay, yes, in advanced class. So we're using all the hand signals. Now, there are 3 kinds of reward in dog training, and you're doing one of them. There is what I call physical praise. What's that, Kat?
Touch.
Touch, petting your dog. Your dog sits. Instead of saying good boy, you reach down and pet him on the head, or her on the head in your case.
Yep.
There is treat-based reward. That's obviously putting a treat, and we only use that 5 to 10%. And then we got verbal reward. She's only got 2. You can't verbally praise your dog when they're deaf. And here's the funny thing. I remember the first time we put them on a stay and I used the squeak toy as a distraction. I went, oh, wait, I forgot. I'm trying to squeak a toy in front of a deaf dog. It's not going to work. So what did you do for, that's basically my question. What were you doing? You couldn't verbal praise. Were you touching every single time?
Pretty much.
Yeah, you should have. I should have told you that.
And I still do the verbal anyway, even though he can't hear me.
It's natural. I even when he came in here today, I go, "Hi, buddy." Well, he's not going to hear me. He's got really big ears for a deaf dog.
Yeah,
big
does.
floppy things. Was there anything that was? To me, he kept up with everybody in the class. All the hearing dogs. The hearing impaired dog was just as good, if not better than some. Was there anything that was more of a challenge because of the deafness?
Recall. That was the biggest challenge.
Where like, because when you put him on a stay, we just left the room with him, and I threw a ball right in front of his face. You can't call him from out of the room. That's going to be something we're going to talk about in the future. Mm-hmm. We're still going to be able to do that. We just didn't want to bring it in novice. Mm-hmm. That was really hard. Did you? I don't know, because I don't even know what you did. I think I gave you some pointers. I would even like stamp my foot on the ground because they'd feel that.
What I did is I came in, took some extra classes with Nerys and called Lee and just asked for advice on what to do, and that really helped.
Yeah. Did you do anything like that? Because I thought I would have suggested that.
No. Just I just said the hand signal, and we did it on Leash.
What would you do if he wasn't looking?
I'd have to wait till he looked.
Well, depending on the flooring you're on, if you're on a hardwood floor, you give a good kick on that floor, they're going to feel the vibration. Yeah. That would be my first thing. What?
Oh, yeah, they'll feel that.
Yeah, then give the hand signal.
Yeah. I think we waved a bit, too, because if he caught it out of his peripheral, he could look at her, but if he completely wasn't looking, it wasn't going to work.
Yeah. I think my recommendation was a collar that vibrated, so he wasn't looking.
Well, that's what we're going to do later, because he's coming to advanced or intermediate advanced. Yes. We don't even need a shock collar. You probably would get one anyway, but some of them just vibrate.
I think she has one already.
Oh, do you have one already?
I have it at Nico, but I haven't used it on him because I wanted to put him through the training.
Is it a vibrating one? Because some give a tone, some give a vibrate.
It's both vibrate and shock.
Okay. Don't say shock. We don't say shock.
Or
static.
Stim.
Okay.
Stimulation. Static stim.
A tickle.
I just call it a correction.
But some of them have a tone, and that would be no good for him. It gives a tone instead of a vibration. Some have both, but we definitely need the vibration because that's probably the only one we're going to use with him. That's all he'll ever need. So we're going to bring him into advanced. Was there anything, because this is what people got to think too. Sure, it's way more challenging than teaching a dog that can hear. Way more challenging. But there's actually got to be, can you think of what I'm thinking? There's got to be a little bit of bonus to it too. What's the bonus? Everybody's looking at me dumbfounded.
I was just paying attention to him. I zoned out.
There's a D word of the 3 Ds that you're going to get a lot less of with a deaf dog.
Distraction.
Of course not. There's kids screaming. That's a thing for Nico.
Yeah.
My dog hears crash the other day, and that's kind of an advantage. Do you find there was a little more focus because of that?
Initially, no, because I had to wait later with him. He didn't mature as fast as Bella. So I waited later with the training with him because the focus wasn't there. But yeah, you're right. We went to the dog expo, and he was happy. Checking out, Bella was shaking.
Lots of noises in there.
Yeah, and Bella was shaking. She was not happy. She was not.
So although there is some disadvantages, there's a lot of advantages. Now, because you had the more challenges, we did. Who'd you do private lessons with? A couple of them?
Both of us.
Both of us.
Me and
There's
Nerys.
3 here.
Recently.
So we did a few with Nerys and Lee. And was that just extra something, or you just wanted to get him in here by yourself, or what was that
Combination of that.
combination? And what did you guys work on then? I know you
kinda-
just sent me some videos that I didn't know existed.
Yeah, so with what I did is to get that like distraction, because obviously like squeaky toys and noise don't really work with him.
No, they don't
and
work.
then-
They don't matter.
They don't matter. They don't matter, right?
Nothing matters.
They don't matter. And even
Yeah.
bouncing a ball, like, you know, he's interested in it because it's a toy,
But he doesn't
it
hear the
doesn't really-
badoom.
Yeah, so what I did with him is I brought in both Artemis and my dog, who's like right here, and her dad Ozzy, 2 dogs, you know, and that he kind of knows, that Bella knows as well, and do like things with them. So they're the distractions. So have him in a sit stay or a down stay while they do recalls running like right by him. You know, because dogs are a bigger distraction because
And
he's
it's,
friendly,
it's
and
the visual distraction.
It's
we're
a
worried
visual
about.
distraction
not
as well,
just the-
right?
Yeah,
You know,
It's the-
dogs running, and then getting them in, you know, those 2 are in stays, and then he does the recall, so he's not focused on what they're doing. He has to listen to Ranata, like what his handler is telling him to do. He can't take his he can't look at the other dogs to what they're doing. He has to listen to his command.
I would have to ask a deaf person this, but I would imagine that's even a little more scary, having like something run by you really quickly that you didn't hear coming. Like me and you are going to hear that person jogging behind us, but a deaf person, the person jogging behind you is just going to all of a sudden fly right by. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, it's
Am I
just like-
making sense?
Yeah, it's just like when you go up behind someone and you know that they can't hear you, they're either distracted or what have you, and you go and you jump in front of them and you scare them because you're screaming.
Yes.
And they didn't see you coming.
But I mean, that's the scary part. If you hear the jogger coming, you're like, okay, I know they're coming. So we did a lot of that work where dogs were running right by him.
running by him, and 2 dogs that I knew that he was okay with, and dogs that I knew that were okay with him,
Mm-hmm.
to just run by him. That, you know, and then he just sits there and he's like, he looks at them and he's like, okay, well, Mom told me to sit, sit and stay, so I'm gonna sit and stay or down and stay if that's the case, like, and not move. I'm gonna look at them, but like, you know, I was told to stay, so I'm gonna stay.
Yep. I'm pretty glad he came to you, because I think a lot of people would have gave up on him, or not had as good a life they had if they didn't come with a dedicated dog owner.
Yeah. And Rana's very dedicated.
I'm not a vet. I'm going to guess that he was deaf since birth. I'm guessing.
They're born deaf. Did you know that? All dogs. They get their hearing at 3 weeks old.
Oh,
Well, you learn something new every day.
something new I didn't know. Did
Wow.
you know that there, scientist over there?
I did not know that. I knew that they were born blind, but I didn't know about deaf.
Deaf, yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
they
know
get
about
their
blind.
hearing
The
about
eyes are closed.
3 weeks old.
Oh,
That's something I didn't know.
well, dang.
I'm going to have to look that up just to double check it.
I just hope that's all that's wrong with him, because I have a strong feeling that he is a result of the double breeding.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say about him probably being deaf from birth. I don't think he gives a fuck. He's happy. I don't even think he knows he's deaf. I think he just thinks nobody can hear on the planet.
Yeah, he's living his best life.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's buddies with this one over here. Everything's really
Just
good.
inquisitive.
He's more. I think he's more curious though because
He's
of it.
even like Ozzy's even okay with him. Gone up and said hi and been fine, because he's just so gentle and friendly.
So I want everybody that's listening, maybe there's somebody out there that's getting a deaf dog or has seen one at a shelter or whatever, and you're like, is this going to be hard? I'm going to attach a video to this. This guy is fucking incredible. What do you think of his obedience?
It's fucking incredible.
Yeah, it's top notch. He's like, we just did advanced stuff with a dog that just, she left the room. That's advanced. Pretty amazing from what I see. Is there anything at home that's a little more of a challenge? Again, if he's in another room, there's nothing you can do. You can't call him. You can't anything.
The barking. Excessive barking. So he picked up...
I've never heard him bark once.
Not it. Oh, you didn't remember the last class in Novus when you let us socialize? The first dog that came up to him, he barked his head off.
Oh. So I know a lot of people that are deaf from birth are also mute. He's not mute. He's far from mute, I guess.
Far from it.
So what do you do? Like, I don't know. I don't even know what I would do. What do you do if he's in another room? You got to get him. You got to go get him.
I gotta go get him.
There's no other choice.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're going to do, and I didn't know you already had one. We're going to get a electronic collar and mostly just use the vibration. And what the vibration we're going to teach him is we're going to do it a couple ways. That's when to look at you, or if he's in another room, that's going to be your recall. Like if you beep him and he's in the upstairs bedroom and you're downstairs in the living room, he's got to come find you. And he'll find you with his nose. So we're going to use a lot of that. Did you guys find it a challenge training somebody with a deaf dog harder than anybody else?
Maybe just a little bit, only because, unlike you, I am not as familiar with it. But
Well,
I already knew the hand signals and everything,
yes,
so that did make
yes.
it a lot easier.
Yeah,
knowing
and
how to handle
you're
it.
also training Renata, who's actually a great client to
Yeah, it
have too.
helps
So
that
if
Loki's
she
owner's
came in
amazing.
with deadpan, if Loki came in with deadpan, you'd stab yourself with a pen,
Oh my god!
wouldn't you, Kat?
Yeah.
You would die.
Yeah, I didn't find
Nobody
it.
knows who deadpan is listening.
Yeah, I didn't find it like really any more challenging. Maybe just because the fact that at first he was looking anywhere but Renata,
Yeah.
and then but now he's like
Focused.
laser focused
Focused.
Yeah.
I mean I knew all the hand signals. The only one was like the okay. I kind of like Googled.
I
The
can't
okay,
even remember.
and
What did
then-
we do for okay? Did we like
It's
almost
kind
like
of
a handstand hand signal?
Yeah,
So we're
it's
going to
with
need
the-
something else for a
well,
handstand
it's-
if this is what we
So
did.
we
I
used
think,
the right hand for the okay.
okay,
like
so we
kinda
go
like
like
an-
this.
Like an after you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like
So basically, for anybody listening, we put the hand in front of Loki's face, the right hand, and we kind of like
Push out.
Yeah, like a
push
like
out.
yeah, like a after you kind of gesture. And it
And-
was I looked online and everything was from the front, so I just kind of like based that off of, I'm like, hey, we do things from the side, so I kind of like
Based it from the side.
catered it to being from the side rather than from in front.
So when you are bringing him to intermediate, yes,
Absolutely.
we're going to have to change a lot of things because, again, a lot of our things in intermediate, we actually have commands called, I call them, maybe I shouldn't, maybe people are offended by it. I call it blind commands. And what blind commands means, you can't do it with a fucking blind dog or a deaf dog, which is weird. Blind commands means we don't look.
Yeah.
So that's not going to exist. But I'm trying to think. I've never even thought of this. I'm just coming up with can we do some kind of signal for a blind down for Loki with a buzz as well? Like right foot up buzz means sit from behind. Left foot up buzz means stand from behind.
Yeah, you could come up with some choreography for that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna make my own. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but we're gonna figure out something.
We're gonna put music to it.
It'll be like, because I'm a baseball.
Eric
It'll be
Straetmans,
like a
dance
baseball.
instructor and dog trainer.
It'll be like baseball. I'm a big baseball fan. It'll be like steel. Like, when I put my hand to my cap and I like this means this.
But it's gonna be, it's gonna be like, who was it? Who was it that was slapping on the garbage can? Houston.
Houston
Yeah,
Astros.
we're gonna be like Houston, and then you're gonna win the worlds because you're gonna see a signal, and then
But
there's
they
gonna be
cheated.
a beep.
So anybody listening, he just did fantastic. I can't wait to get him into the next level. Check out the video we're going to link. I'm going to make a little video of his stuff. He's like amazing. He technically had, well, he had a couple extra private lessons, but he technically had the same 9 weeks of training all the other dogs did, and I think he's probably going to get the best score in that class. Oh, wait, did Harley get a perfect score
He
too?
did. He
Oh,
did.
Harley got a perfect score too. So
class.
that's pretty good. So I have a little announcement here to make before we finish this podcast. What was that little gesture?
I was,
Drum roll.
I was joking with the drum roll that
We're
we're
gonna-
not
we're gonna
allowed
whack
to
on your
do.
table that you hate
So
so
as
much.
we all know, everybody listening to this podcast, we now have a sponsorship. This podcast has been brought to you by the good people at Big Country Raw. Feed your dog what Eric feed Nico. Big Country Raw, the best raw food dog food in the country. We now are all set with our sponsorships. So we were trying different things. We were trying some kind of code that somebody could get. But what Big Country Raw decided to do, we're looking at it right here, comes right on their website.
Love that.
We have an extension of their website. And all you have to do is go to their website. I'm looking at it right now. This is only the second time I've seen it. You punch in your name, your last name, and your email. And there's a one question: what type of food do you currently feed your dog? So they're trying to get people to try it for the first time, and you will get 15% off your first order, and order a whole shit ton because it's frozen. It lasts for how many years? 2 years or something.
Something
Lee,
like that.
you're the one that sells it. It's usually, I think it's a 2 year while it's frozen.
Yes,
2
while
years.
it's frozen. If you defrost it, you have like 4 days.
So
it lasts
here,
for 2 years, but gone in 2 seconds.
Yep.
So here is, and I'm going to link this at the bottom of every single one too. This is the first time we've talked about it because we just got this taken care of over because the holidays kind of stopped it. But it's basically bigcountryrod.ca. That's their website. But then the page you want to go to is /BTL/. So bigcountryrod.ca /BTL. That'll get you to that page. All my listeners, you can jump on there and get your 15% off and try it. See how your dog likes it.
Do it.
My dog loves it.
Luna loved it.
Loved it.
Loved it, yes.
You're off of it now?
Dude, man, she eats like a pig and she's 76 pounds.
So you get it as a treat once in a while.
Pretty much, yeah.
The one thing, and we're going off topic here, but the owner, which I had her on for a podcast, a very lovely woman, Geraldine, and also the writer of that book we just picked up, said if you're going to do anything, buy the oil, put it. You do that with the kibble?
Yeah, I do the oil.
The
on
herring
the kibble
oil or salmon
and,
oil?
The sardines, is it?
Mm-hmm.
I just say Luna, I'm like, want fish? And boom, doesn't matter where she is in the house. Like, she's up from the basement in a heartbeat.
We're going to have to give a hand signal for Loki for want fish or want chicken. It'll be hand to head for fish, hand on hip for chicken. We'll figure that out. We're gonna figure out lots of things for him because I like to figure out things on my own. I don't want to internet see what other trainers do. I want to see what I want to do. Okay, we're going to finish this podcast with our little, like we always do, our little dog
trivia.
Fascinating it's not really trivia. I don't know why they called it trivia. Trivia to me is like Trivia Pursuit.
That's misinformation.
Jeopardy. It's fascinating facts and tidbits of trivia. Hey. So I'm going to...
It's for pub night winning.
Pub night winning. So I'm going to go an early one because I don't want to hit one I've already had. And sometimes these are really boring. Sometimes they're pretty cool. So this one, I got a long one. I got to read a lot. Handsome Dan is the Bulldog mascot for the Yale University sports teams. Actual Bulldogs fill the position. As of 2021, there will be 19 dogs who have served as Handsome Dan.
Wow.
I wonder if they get paid for that.
I was watching
You'd have to.
something.
Somebody gets paid for that. We're
But
just
they
gonna
have, like,
we're gonna make
people
Loki
who
famous,
watch
so we
them.
can get what?
They have like people who work specifically for universities that are like they're the mascot caregiver, and they make sure the dog's bathed before a game and make sure that they're fed and make sure that they're there's this whole role just for that.
I'm going home and I'm going to Google Handsome Dan Yale University as soon as we're done.
100%.
Yeah. Gotta
So
find that out.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming on. Catherine, we got Nerys, and we got Lee, and special guest Loki and her owner Ranata. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
That was a great podcast. Again, if you have any dog with any disability, call a trainer. There's things we can do. It's not over. There's things we can change. We can alter. You can train anybody, any dog. I don't care what they're. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't care if they got 2 legs. We're going to put them on one of those wheelie things, and we're going to teach them. It doesn't matter. We will find a way because Loki's fucking awesome. All right, till next time, guys. See you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Beyond the Leash podcast. We hope you learned something valuable today. For more information or to connect with Eric, check us out at beyondtheleash.ca. We'll see you next time.